where the city of Marseille was shaken for a third day of riots by football fans. Police say several were injured in clashes among French, Russian, and English fans. CCTV's Dan Williams is joining us from Paris. Dan, talk us through the latest developments. What happened? How did it all start?
Yes, as you say, a third day of violence in Marseille. Seems very similar, it has to be said, to events in 1998 in the World Cup here, also down in Marseille as well, where England fans clashed with ahead of their match with Tunisia. Here, though, it's, as you say, a third day of violence. It's unclear and conflicting reports so far as to exactly who is to blame for this. A large number of reports blaming the large groups of English fans that had gathered in the Old Port area ahead of the match, had been drinking through the afternoon. Other reports saying that, claiming that well-organized groups of Russian fans were indeed to blame. What is clear, though, is that the sickening images that we've seen across the TV screens across the world really are quite horrific. We've seen fans lying on the floor being kicked. We've seen other fans laying motionless on the floor while punches continually rain down. We've seen chairs being smashed over the heads of supporters. Added to that, of course, we've seen repeatedly the police using tear gas repeatedly. We've also seen the water cannon dispersed as well. And it really has to be said that Marseille really does look more like a war zone ahead of the game, and certainly nothing to do with fans gathering and looking forward to a game of football. We also understand that there were a number of clashes in the build-up towards the stadium as well, and we're hearing the breaking news reports of further clashes after the match. Associated Press reporting that Russian fans are currently attacking England fans at the stadium. So all of that really makes for a very unsavory couple of days in Marseille. And of course it's left, we understand, according to authorities, more than 30 fans injured, as well as one English fan seriously injured, and a lot of headaches now for organisers, a lot of questions to solve.
So, Dan, the clashes are coming as France remains in a state of emergency following the terror attacks last year. Are authorities going to be really hard pressed to do their job?
Absolutely. I mean, already, as you can imagine, the authorities have really been up against it since the terror attacks in November last year. And of course, that was the dominating story coming into this tournament. It has to be remembered that France remains in a state of emergency, and certainly the security forces very much stretched, exhausted from that effort, and now, of course, having to confront this. But of course, the authorities here, the security forces of some close to 100,000 personnel would have been prepared for events such as this. We saw the water cannon being dispersed, and that, of course, very specific to the hooligan threat. There will be, though, concerns not only about this ongoing violence that's taking place in Marseille, but also for the future matches. Wales take on England in Lens later this week, and of course that's a town that has a population of 36,000 people. That is supposed to swell by 100,000 Brits, so there really will now be a lot of concern as to whether this will now become a repeated topic throughout this tournament. As I say, both for organisers here in France, the authorities, the security personnel, some really big questions now that really need to be answered.